Hi guys, my name is Tony Blake. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, just to give you a backstory, I talk about my life. My life as a flight attendant, my life as a teacher, my life living in China and traveling, taking on fitness, whatever it is, entrepreneurship, being a mom. I'm gonna talk about it all. So if you like that kind of content, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Today's video is gonna be different though. I am pretty much gonna vent. Here we go. I have traveled to a lot of countries. I've lived in 3 countries. I am currently on the quest to move to another country. I call this video Black Privilege because, first of all, let me give you a backstory about myself. And this isn't to brag or anything like that. It's for you to understand my perspective. For those of you that don't know, I was born in Jamaica. I left Jamaica. I'm actually here right now, still in Jamaica. I'm visiting. I left Jamaica when I was 10 years old. When I moved to America, I gave my mother a hard time. It wasn't disrespectful, but a little rebellious. I wasn't rich in Jamaica, but I grew up with some privileges. So at the time, I went to the best school on the island. It was a private school. I had my own chauffeur. I had someone who took care of me because my mom worked in the home, so my mom was home. But she was always so busy. A matter of fact, she just passed away this week, literally. So I grew up okay. And when I moved to America, my mom had nothing. The truth be told, she was renting a room from somebody. She was doing living jobs, taking care of people, and she was never home. I think the epitome for me as a child was having to make my own bed. I just thought my mother was this horrible person because now I had to make my own bed and cook my own food. And I used to just cry. I used to be like, you brought me to America for this. I specifically remember the people that she was renting a room from starting to be mean to her because of me. Just certain things wasn't acceptable for me. We were living in a freaking room, you know? So that's just to give you a backstory of how I grew up. And then, of course, eventually I adjusted. I made friends later on because I was teased. I was teased horribly for my accent, which is crazy because I wasn't even allowed to speak Patois living here. Till this day, if I speak to my father in Patois and he is born, bred Jamaican, he'll say, what's wrong with you? English is the official language of Jamaica. Let's just make that clear. It was just one of those things where I end up adjusting and I became Americanized, and you did whatever you had to do to fit in. It's crazy because now, you know, my friends joke and I'm like the fake Jamaican out of the group because I don't speak Patois that much unless you piss me off. You know, just culturally, I'm back here now and sometimes it will come out and sometimes you have to bring it out. I moved to America and I was like, I'm never going back to Jamaica. That's how it became. I became Americanized. I'm like, I'm not coming back here. Gave up my citizenship or whatever. Long story short, 20 years passed before I came back to Jamaica. Later in my 30s, to be honest, I just went through this phase where I was just like, I can't do this anymore. I can't do America anymore. And I literally packed up and moved to China. And if you watch my other videos, you'll see that. Did 2 years in China, came back to the United States and just still feeling unhappy. And especially with the unrest that's going on there, the racism, you know? And I don't want to get too much into it, but growing up, I didn't learn about racism until I moved to America. I went to school, grew up in a country where our motto is out of many one people because there's everything here. So I can talk about my first racial experience and when I found out what the KKK is and whatever, you know, but I'm at a point in my life where I just I hate it. Reason why I'm saying I'm privileged, and a lot of us are privileged, because I've traveled the world. I spent quite some time in Africa, in some countries in Africa. I spent 5 weeks there. The reality is they look at Americans, no matter who you are, or any outsider, as rich. And just like me coming here, and my friends do it, and my family do it, you know, the locals, they admire what we have, and they're somewhat jealous. For me, I don't like that, because I'm starting to feel like I come here and I have the privilege of leaving when I want. You know, I hold an American passport. Contrary to what anybody believes or how anyone feels about America right now, that passport is a freaking golden ticket, and I have one. And so I come here and I stay at an Airbnb for 2 weeks, and I'm in the community and I'm giving people, you know, like I always bring things when I'm coming. Like I will go to like Burlington, yes, and get things on sale, or go to a Dollar Tree, because all that stuff we take for granted, they appreciate it here. So I will pack those things, bring those things here just to hand out in the community. These people think I'm rich, and I'm not. Same thing when I was in Africa, same thing when I was in Sri Lanka. It's the same perception when you go to China. You're from America, so you must be rich. Yeah, it's by choice, but I don't even own a home. Depends on when you're watching this video. We're in a pandemic. We are experiencing coronavirus at full-blown speed. A lot of Americans are depressed. A lot of Americans have lost their job. I'm on leave right now from my job because I work in the airline industry, and I come here, and it's funny because everyone's like, be careful, it's a third world country and you this and that. And I'm like, okay, there are 30 active cases. Took forever to get into the country. I had to get approval to come to the country. I'm on quarantine. I feel safer here. Back to why it's just a privilege, because we come here and I look at these people, and some of them own their home. It may not be the best home, but the worry is different. You know, you see people smiling. I've been running every morning since I've been here. Everyone, good morning, good morning, 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 morning. That's all you hear. They look at me sideways because they just know I'm a visitor. Again, same thing when I went to other countries. She's from America. She has, what is it like? And everyone wants the American dream. And I will not put America down, because America has been good to me, has been good to my daughter. But I also want us as a people to not forget where we come from. And I think that's where I am in my life. Like, how can I do more, not just come to a community and enjoy their food and enjoy their culture and leave and never speak to them again. She made a commitment I keep in contact with my family now in Zimbabwe. My family in Kenya called me the other day because they're so worried about me. They're like, come home, come home. You know, I don't want to continue to take advantage of my privilege. And I don't know what that looks like yet, but I am committed to making a difference. A little bit goes a long way. I can do more. So I have to also make a confession, something that I forgot, two things that I wanted to say. So one of them is the reason why I feel like I want to do something on my own, and I'm gonna be honest with you, and I'm actually honored that I got to see it. So I remember growing up and seeing those commercials on TV about starving children in Africa, and donate and sponsor a child and all that. My 5 weeks in Africa blew my mind. Let's start with Kenya. When I went to Kenya, there are a bunch of markets of used clothes or whatever, and I said to my friend, I'm like, what's going on? She was like, oh, these people, the things that you Americans send to us, they sell and they make very good money. They are rich. These organizations take those goods and then these people turn around and sell them. So it's not going to the less fortunate that you thought. That alone inspired me, like, I need to be on the ground. I need to be on the ground, making sure that the resources are going to where it needs to go, because there is a need in certain parts of you know, the continent. Let's get it. Let's first, I hate when people say Africa. There's several countries in Africa. You need to be specific. My friend, she has a maid. She works for the government. She has an education. She has a beautiful home. She does very well. So actually, she probably does better than me. Know where your money is going. As a people, I think we need to do better. And I'm talking to Black Americans, Africans, Jamaicans, Haitians, Dominicans. I don't care where you're from, but you have to start loving your own first before you expect someone else to love you. My cousin and I had an interesting conversation because we're Jamaican, but he was born in the United States. And I opened up to him and I was just like, I cannot relate to this protesting and whatever because of what I went through, my personal experience coming to America. So, like I said before, I was teased beyond nobody's business. It wasn't cool to be Jamaican. The joke when I was in school, if you were Haitian, was your Haitian booty scratcher. Yeah. And it's funny because my best friend was Haitian and I embraced her like nobody's business. We have to learn to love our own before we expect others to embrace us. Imitation is the best form of flattery. So when I hear other cultures imitating us, loving our music, it makes me proud. Let's just start there. That's my take on what's going on right now. We gotta love ourselves. We gotta respect each other. By the way, if you're interested in going to Kenya, I offer round trip, $1,500, all inclusive. You will have the time of your life. There are some beautiful places in the continent of Africa, on the continent of Africa. Kenya being one of them. No, there are not lions and tigers running the streets. Sorry about the further rant, but just thought-provoking. Seriously, guys, like, I want us to shift our perspective. Stop believing what you're fed in the media, especially in America. Do your own research. And people laugh at me because they think I'm a Trump supporter. Respect is respect, and that person is disrespectful. However, if you do your research when it comes to certain things with China, China makes a lot of money off Americans. That Gucci purse, that Prada purse, whatever it is, name brand you wear, it's made in the same freaking factory. So if you're not tired of that, then you're part of the problem too. I think I've ranted enough. Again, comment below. I'm open, I'm here. I don't have a lot, but I'm going to do more. I know for a fact that I'm probably gonna start some kind of foundation and I will lay that out for you. It came to me literally while being here in Jamaica because I see this so much while traveling. As a teacher, it's one of those things that education is a powerful tool and some of these kids don't even have access to education. I want to encourage anyone who has migrated to the United States of America and has gotten that American dream and you just have not, I talk to people who've left a long time and have never come back to Jamaica. You know, it took me 20 years. I know people from other countries who, for whatever reason, can't go back to their countries. So I want to start something. I want to do something bigger than myself, bigger than you, and make a small difference. So I want to encourage you guys to join me in this movement, but I hope I'll continue to have my job because it will give me access to travel to certain places that I want to go to make personal connection. But I want you to reflect on what I said and comment below. Tell me where you're from. Tell me how you grew up and what your life experiences are like. And if you could do more, what would you do? You know, we can all make a difference, especially during this time and how our world's going. Talk to you guys soon, and continue to be safe. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Tony Blake Projects. And I'm taking on another project. I'm excited. So be safe, guys. See you in the next video.